morning, boys and girls. I am so excited because today I get to read to you one of my favorite books. I want to give a shout out to Bass for helping me decide on this title. The book that we're going to read today is called Who Pooped in the Park? Okay, so before we start reading, I need to put on my adventure hat because we're going to go on an adventure. My adventure hat on, and I have my trusty magnifying glass. We can use this to look at things more closely while we read. Okay, who pooped in the park? My sister, as you all know, lives in Montana. And in Montana is one of the most beautiful national parks in our country. It's called Glacier National Park. Okay, so the animals in this story all live in Glacier National Park. However, some of the animals we will find here in Tennessee too, as you'll see. All right, let's get started. All right. Dad, I have to go to the bathroom. Michael squirmed in the back seat. We'll be at our campground in just half an hour, said Dad. We are in Glacier National Park now. Maybe you felt like that on a long car ride before. He's just nervous, said Michael's sister. He thinks a bear's gonna eat him. She growled at Michael and made her fingers look like claws. Stop it, Emily, said Mom. Nobody's getting eaten by anything. Michael was very excited about the trip, but Emily was right. He was nervous. He had just read a book about grizzly bears. He knew how big they could get. He also knew that a hungry grizzly bear would eat just about anything, maybe even a boy. Excuse me, guys. There we go. I'm kind of scared of bears, admitted Michael. Don't worry, Dad told him. We'll show you how to count a bear's toes and never get close enough to be scared. Count a bear's toes. Here's our campsite. Let's set up the tent. Then we can go for a walk and I'll show you what I mean, said Dad. Michael was awfully worried about the grizzly bear toes, but he tried to not show it. Let's hurry, said Emily. I want to see some animals. Once the tent was up, the whole family went for a hike. Emily started to complain before they even left the campground. I haven't seen any animals yet. Maybe there aren't any even here. What do you notice? Notice this little raccoon hiding from her. There are definitely animals here, said Dad. We are going to learn about them from their scat and tracks. Scat? said Michael. What's scat? Scat is the words hikers and trackers use for animal poop. Mom said, look over here. Footprints, said Michael. And something else too, added Mom. Beaver scat. It looks like little pieces of wood, said Emily. Up here we have a box. It says, straight poop. Beavers usually poop in the water, so you won't find beaver scat very often. I wonder why it has pieces of wood in it. Maybe it's because they chew on wood. Beavers gnaw on wood all the time, said Dad. Their scat has lots of wood chips in it. They use the trees to build their dams and the lodges they live in, added Mom. And they eat the bark. Huh. The scat told you what they eat, said Dad. Now look at the tracks. Their back feet are webbed, which means they are good swimmers. And you can see how big the tail is here. It dragged along here, said Mom. The tail helps him swim too. You see their track? And then you see that big, that's where their tail drug. See, Michael, said Dad, we don't have to get up close to an animal to learn about it. Instead of a close encounter of the scary kind, we can have a close encounter of the poopy kind. Everybody laughed, and Mom made a grossed out face. Blech. Dad, Mom, look over here. I found Bunny Scat, yelled Michael. It's just like what we have in Fluffy's cage. We came all the way to Glacier National Park for that, grumbled Emily. Michael's bunny makes plenty of poop at home. All right. That's not from a rabbit, said Mom. It's from a deer. Right. Bunny poop looks like little round balls, added Dad. Deer scat is shaped more like jelly beans. Okay. Let me see here. We have, uh-oh, I lost my badger. He's gonna help us later. Okay, so here we have deer and elk scat in the spring and summer. Deer and elk scat in the fall and winter. Rabbit scat. Jelly beans. Straight poop. Rabbits eat their own droppings. This lets them eat the same food twice to get all the good nutrition from it. They eat their own droppings. The little round balls are the scat that's already been through twice. Okay. Are these deer tracks? Michael asked. Yes, said Mom. See how they have split hooves. Cool, added Emily. She was starting to get interested. But what are these marks? Okay, so there is the deer scat, and here are the deer tracks with the split hooves. And she's wondering, what are these two little things right there? Those are from his dew claws, said Mom. They're little claws behind the hoof. Dew claws sometimes show in deer tracks in soft ground. You see right there, his dew claw. And there's his hoof. Oh no, said Michael. Here's one of his antlers. Did a bear eat him? Michael looked around nervously. No, he's fine. Deer and elk shed their antlers every winter and then grow a new, bigger set the next year. This antler is from an elk. Straight poop. Female deer and elk don't grow antlers. Reindeer are the only members of the deer family where both males and females have antlers. This elk was in a hurry, though, said Mom, as she studied the ground. Michael and Emily went over for a look. How can you tell? The hoof prints got very far apart here, explained Mom. At the back, prints are in front of the front prints. And the back prints are in front of the front prints. He was walking backwards, said Emily. No, he was galloping. Something scared him and he was moving fast. So you see, galloping and walking. Stotting or pronking. Straight poop. Sometimes mule deer bounce along with all 4 feet hitting the ground all together. This is called stotting or pronking. I know what scared him, Dad called. The family hurried over to look. I wonder what they're looking at. This is coyote scat, Dad said, and there are coyote tracks all around here. They look like dog tracks, said Michael. That's because coyotes are members of the dog family, explained Dad. Straight poop. Coyote scat often has hair and bits of bone in it that their bodies couldn't digest. Coyotes eat just about anything they can catch and steal leftovers from other predators too. You can tell what they've been eating by examining their scat. So if they have bits of bone and hair in their scat, we know that they're carnivores. They're eating other animals.
May I come in?
You can sit down. I'm reading. Sadie's here, guys. Sit down. There were a lot of coyotes around here, said Mom. See how the tracks are different sizes? Their den is probably nearby, and they scared the elk, Dad suggested. Did the coyotes get him? Michael asked. I don't think so, said Mom. Look. Far across the meadow, they saw a family of coyotes lying in the sun. As they walked along the trail in the woods, Michael looked all over for tracks. Look, everyone, I found another coyote track.
I want to see.
Can you see? Why don't you sit right there so you can see, babe? Thank you. Honey, Mommy's making a video. Sit down. That's not a coyote track, said Dad. It doesn't show any claw marks, and the front of the big pad looks dented in. You found a mountain lion track, said Mom. Here's the difference. Coyote track versus a mountain lion track. Since cats can retract their claws, their tracks don't show claw marks. The only dog that doesn't show claw marks is a gray fox. Their claws are so small and sharp that they climb trees like a cat. Go, Zadie. I'm sorry, guys. Go downstairs, please. Let's look for mountain lion poop, said Michael. I don't think you'll find any, said Mom, but you can look. Straight poop. Mountain lions may be the biggest cats in America, but they still bury their scat, just like a house cat. So, just like how a house cat has a litter box, a mountain lion digs up a hole and goes in the hole and covers it up. Let me shut the door real quick. All right. Let's see what happens next. Wow, there's a huge pile right here in the middle of the trail. That's not from a mountain lion. All you see in it are vegetables and something that looks like oats, said Dad. So if an animal's only eating vegetables, it's a herbivore. It's horse poop, said Emily. Right, said Mom. People ride horses out here. See if you can find any tracks. Straight poop. Horses walk while they poop, but they stop and stand still to pee. How about that? You see the scat and the tracks? Michael found tracks all right, but they didn't look like he expected. "That's an awfully funny shaped hoof," he said. "Horses don't have split hooves like elk and deer," said Dad. "It's just one part." So this is the horse hoof. This is the deer or elk hoof because it has a split in it. Excuse me. "He means the shoe," said Mom. Michael looked puzzled, and Dad laughed. "Horses that are ridden a lot have metal shoes to keep their hooves from wearing down. That's the track you're seeing. You see the hoof? The shoe, the horseshoe?" And don't worry, when people put a horseshoe on a horse, it does not hurt the horse at all. This actually protects the horse's hoof. That's why it's called a shoe, because shoes protect our feet. "What are these tracks over here?" asked Emily. She was kneeling by a hole in the ground looking at some tracks. "Dad, take a close look. Check out those long claw marks, kids." Ooh. "Is it from a bear?" said Michael with a shudder. "No," said Dad. "These are badger tracks. And that's the hole he lives in." "Are you talking about me?" "Yes, we're talking about you. You're a badger." Trackers rarely find badger scat because badgers usually poop underground. See the badger? "His claws are huge," said Emily. "That's how he digs the holes," Mom answered. "He uses his front feet and claws like shovels and picks." He has those long claws to help dig out holes. See him right there? Michael followed the tracks backwards from the hole and spotted some big hoof prints. "I found more deer prints here." "Those aren't deer prints," Dad pointed out. "They're not as pointy and they don't turn in at the tips." "Right," said Mom. "And they don't show dew claws. They're mountain goat tracks." Here's a deer track versus a mountain goat track. There's some mountain goat scat. We don't have mountain goats in Tennessee. "Mountain goats usually spend the summer up in the high mountains," said Dad, "but they come down here too." "Whoa, Dad, what happened to this tree? Did an animal do that?" "Something was sharpening its claws, Michael. And if you look how high those marks go, it was pretty big." "It's not just the animal that's big," said Emily. "Look at the size of that poop." "It looks like we found your grizzly bear," said Dad. "Let's see what you've learned today. What can you figure out about this bear?" "He's taller than you, and he has really long claws," said Michael. "He's been eating plants," said Emily, "because there's no hair or bones in here." "Good," said Mom. "What else?" "Straight poop. Grizzlies eat almost anything. They like fish and many kinds of plants, roots, and berries. Grizzlies can hunt their own meat, but they often steal kills away from wolves and other predators. They even eat moss and other insects." "Here's his footprint," said Michael. "It's huge. He has more toes than a coyote, and his claws are longer than my fingers." "I told you you'd be able to count a grizzly's toes," laughed Dad. Look how huge that footprint is. You see his little toes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I bet you know what these are. They're from his claws. He's rubbed off some of his hair on the tree, said Emily. It's really dark, but the tips are gray. Just like Dad, smiled Mom. Don't pick on me, and Dad grinned back. Straight poop. Hair with gray tips on a grizzly. Hair with gray tips on it is called grizzled. It's the grizzled hair that gave the grizzly bear its name. Huh, how about that? Now we know why it's called a grizzly bear, because of the gray tips. As they ate dinner that night, everyone talked about how much fun they had had. We didn't see very many animals, said Emily, but it seems like we did. And I didn't get scared once, said Michael. The end. Now at the back of the book, they have tracks and scat notes. Miss Bruce isn't going to read all of it. I'm just going to tell you the name of the animal. Okay? So grizzly bear, there's what it looks like. It's track and it's scat. Rabbit, track, scat. Mule deer, track, scat. Elk, track, scat. Horse, track, scat. And on the back here, mountain goat, track, scat. Beaver, track, scat. Coyote, track, scat. Mountain lion, track, scat. Badger, track, scat. All right. Well, I hope you really enjoyed this book, and I hope you learned a little bit more about tracks and scat. And maybe the next time you go for a walk outside, you can notice some tracks and try to identify them. All right, guys, I miss you so much. I hope that everyone's doing well, and I will see you in another video soon. Bye-bye.